Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Renee, Senior Services Coordinator for Schaumburg Township District Library, and I'm here today with Paula Diaz. She's the Crime Prevention Specialist with the Schaumburg Police Department. Thank you for joining us, Paula.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So before we get started, can you tell us a little bit about how long you've been with the police department and what's your favorite part of your job?
So I've worked in law enforcement for about 20 years. I've worked at the Schaumburg Police Department for almost 16 years. And it's kind of funny because it wasn't something that I initially wanted to do as a career, kind of fell into my lap, and I am so happy that I was able to have this opportunity to be able to work here. I enjoy so much working with people, and the people that I've met in my job, just contacting me or that I've met in different areas, events, I've really enjoyed. I love helping people, and it's a very positive experience that I've had with people. So it was something that I wasn't expecting to do, but I couldn't imagine doing something else.
So I have a few low-tech devices here, and Paula covers lighting toward the end of her presentation, but I have with me a LED light that will go on at dusk, off at dawn, and it's got a little sensor in it. It's energy efficient, and I know that Paula is very fond of talking about emphasizing lighting as a deterrent to crime. And also another idea could be a bulb like this that would turn on in a power failure. So it's got a little battery in here and a little charger built in. It's kind of got a big shape to it, but you can put this in areas where you would like some light if the power goes out. And then the last somewhat low-tech thing I have here is a timer. And of course, a $5 timer can also make it nice for your home when you come home and you come home to a lit house. And again, I just wanted to get your take on some of those devices.
Those are great. And what I love about it is that some of those products are new and some of them have been around for a long time, but they're all efficient. They all work great. So the photo cell lights, and because of the fact that it's an LED light bulb, very efficient, keeps costs down. The new light bulbs are a lot more efficient, and I do believe the initial cost is a little higher, but overall it will keep your costs down. But the safety, the crime prevention aspect, where it turns on at night, turns off in the daytime, that is when you want your lighting to be on. So it works for you, right? You don't have to turn the switch on, turn the switch off. It does it for you. So that's fantastic. The light timers have been around for a long time, but they are very effective when you program them to turn on when you come home. Say you're coming home late at night and then your light is on. That's a wonderful thing. It's a very secure thing for all of us. And what I also love about it, and always recommend that people use when they go on vacation, what it does is it gives the impression that a person is at home when they're away on vacation. So they turn on automatically, and you can put those on different lights throughout your home to give the impression that somebody is home. And that's a really good deterrent when offenders are, looking for a house to break into. When you have that impression that somebody is at home, they're going to go to a different house. So those are all very effective tools. We also do recommend that you install deadbolts on all exterior doors. So you have this kind of a deadbolt where it has a key, We do recommend that you install those on any exterior doors, which includes the door between a house and a garage. So if you have an attached garage, you can consider that door between them an exterior door where they should have a deadbolt installed. We also recommend that homeowners go to the Village of Schaumburg or contact them and request a no solicitor sticker. And that is something that you can put in your entryway at your front door. What you're doing is you're letting people know that if they are going door to door, that you do not want them to bother you. Everybody who is a solicitor is required to get a permit where they apply for an application, they receive a badge with a photo attached, but that allows them to go door to door. However, if you have one of these stickers on your front door, it lets that person know that they are not allowed to bother that homeowner. If they happen to do that, you call 911 and an officer will go to them and they can receive a violation. So it's a really good way to keep people from bothering you if you do not want to be bothered. Okay, so I'm going to start my presentation. The title of my presentation is Senior Scams. However, this information could apply to anybody. So it's ageless, genderless, it doesn't matter. I hope that you're going to find this information helpful in some way. And again, at the end of the presentation, yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. So why do offenders target seniors? There are some types of scams that do affect the senior population primarily. The reason being is because, believe it or not, seniors have a higher or more available money. So they're not in debt as much as other age groups. So they have more disposable income. They have probably more jewelry, coins, those kind of things. And those are the types of things that offenders are looking for because they want to be able to use cash. They can take jewelry or coins to a pawn shop and cash those out. So what they're looking for is money or valuables. Most older Americans are more polite and trusting, which is a good thing and a bad thing. They're less likely to report a fraud, which is a pretty great concern to the police department. We want everybody to report if they are a victim of a fraud. That way, one, we can track and monitor the types of scams that are affecting the area, but also we want our residents to get help from the police department. And seniors are more susceptible to buying products or giving to charities. So therefore, they're more giving. And so that can put them in a kind of a tricky situation at times, or more prone to be a victim of a scam. The current scams that are affecting the Schaumburg area, and not just Schaumburg, maybe the surrounding areas as well, and it could also be nationwide. One of them is the Illinois Department of Employment Security. This is unemployment, an unemployment scam. We also have the COVID-19 scams that are occurring in the area, and these are more nationwide scams as well. Telemarketing, which is prevalent. It's nothing that's going to go away in the near future. And then we have gift card and charity scams. So the Illinois Department of Employment Security is a scam that's based on unemployment. If you look at the picture, it's a debit card. So people that apply for unemployment receive a debit card from the Illinois Department of Employment Security. And how this works is that an offender will apply for unemployment and use a victim as the contact person. So they're filling out an unemployment application and using the victim's information. Now, these victims will receive a debit card with cash on it if they're approved, and this could make them a target of identity theft. So what happens with this scam is the offender will apply for unemployment benefits. They will use the victim's information, personal information, and the victim will receive a debit card, and it could have thousands of dollars on this debit card. Now, the scam can work in different ways. One is that the offender is using this personal information not only to obtain the debit card, but now they're going to use that personal information in other ways in order for them to get credit cards, file for loans, whatever the case may be, using maybe for insurance. So they're using the victim's information for other means to obtain money or financial gain. We also are finding that sometimes the offender will use the victim's personal information. However, the offender using some of their own personal information will be able to find out if the victim activates that card, whereby the offender will be able to drain that debit card from its funds, so actually take the funds off that card. So there's a couple of variations to this employment security scam, but the main point that we want to urge the victims of this scam, if you do happen to receive a debit card, is to not activate the card. Once you activate that card, the funds could be used. So we urge victims, if they have not applied for unemployment, to not activate the card. In fact, they should contact the Illinois Department of Employment Security at 1-800-814-0513. Let them know that you actually received this debit card in error, and to not make these funds available. It's also recommended, because there is a chance that the victim could be a victim of identity theft. So it's recommended that you do check your credit report. So you can go to annualcreditreport.com, and the information on the screen has the website as well as phone numbers, and you can contact either any of these credit bureaus. They will notify the other credit bureaus as well that you have been a victim of identity theft, because if you receive that debit card, you could be a victim of identity theft, and you want the credit bureaus to flag your account so that they can monitor it. So we do recommend that you contact the credit bureaus, and all you need to do is contact one of them. They will reach out to the other two. COVID-19 scams this is a type of scam that it's not a seasonal, it's not something that happens all the time, but when emergencies happen, such as COVID-19, the scams come and follow along with this. So what they're doing is they're taking advantage of the fears of the pandemic, and what they're doing is they're either selling things, they're emailing, or calling people on the phone to impersonate somebody from an agency, asking you to download an app or buy some COVID-19 prevention tools. So there's a whole list of different types of scams that are affected with this COVID-19. So they could ask you to, if they contact you by email, they will ask you to click on a link, which could make you vulnerable to a virus. They could call you asking for financial donations, maybe pretending to be a charity, or they could try to sell you face masks or some kind of drug that will help you with COVID-19. with this, the people that are receiving these emails or phone calls could be victims of identity theft. You could be providing personal information or financial information to these people. You could get a virus onto your computer, whereby the offender could access a lot of information about you. So we urge you not to respond to any emails that pretend to be an organization or somebody selling any kind of equipment or cures for COVID-19. The government will not contact you by emails or texts. So that's just a red flag that if you should receive something by email or by text, that could be fraudulent. And if you have any questions about COVID-19, there is a hotline from the Centers for Disease Control, or if you want to contact our Nursing and Senior Services Division, you could call them at 847-923-3766. So they can kind of give you information about, if there's any kind of medicine available that they're aware of. But if you want to contact the Centers for Disease Control, you can do that at 1-800-232-4636. And that's a hotline for people to call if they have any questions. And of course, the state of Illinois does have coronavirus prevention information, such as stay-at-home orders and practicing social distancing and good hygiene. So all of that information is available through the state of Illinois, or again, you can contact the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. So telemarketing fraud is something that has been going on for quite a while. It's something that probably won't go away in the near future. So prevention is the key. So if you receive a phone call from somebody asking for any kind of personal or financial information, that is a big warning sign. They could also ask you to purchase things, free gifts, you could win a vacation, some kind of sweepstakes. But it's always something to be hesitant about whenever somebody over the phone is asking for any personal or financial information. If they ever ask for bank account information, credit card information, that's a huge flag. There are some telemarketing frauds that have been going on for quite a while and are still active. The grandparent scam, that is where a grandchild, an offender poses as a grandchild, contacts a senior, and is asking for money to be either wired or to purchase a gift card. Another telemarketing scam is the sweepstakes scam, where you win something. However, there are some hidden costs that they make you aware of, such as taxes or delivery fees, or you have to purchase something in order to receive that gift. The IRS scam is where an offender will pretend to work for the IRS and you owe some back taxes, which you have to purchase a gift card in order to pay. And then finally is the charity scams, where they are a charity organization and they want you to donate money. So what we always recommend is that whenever you answer the phone, always think about the advice you would give to somebody else. And when you think about that advice, make sure you follow through with it yourself. So when I give information out, safety information or crime prevention information out to people, I want to make sure that I follow that safety information as well. And it's something that I have to constantly teach myself to do, because I get a lot of telemarketing phone calls just like everybody else. We do recommend that you contact the Do Not Call registry. I know there are ways that people can get around that. However, it is just another way to minimize the number of calls, if at all possible. So you can call the www.donotcall.gov website, or you can call them at 888-382-1111. 1222. One thing that I always recommend is that you never give out personal information, credit cards, checking accounts, social security numbers, Medicare or Medicard numbers to unknown callers on the phone. Giving that information over the phone is very dangerous because you do not know who is on the other line. You know, they can say that they're Bob Smith, however, they could be an offender and just trying to get personal or financial information. Never pay for anything because you're going to receive a free gift, because that free gift usually has some hidden charges. Check out any charities before you donate, and never send any money by Western Union or overnight mail, particularly if they ask for cash or a traveler's check or cashier's check. Any of those, never send those. Be cautious of any 900 numbers. And one of the biggest things that I recommend is that you let all the calls or any unfamiliar calls go to voicemail. You can always retrieve those calls after the call has been made, but I always recommend that you let it go to voicemail, check your voicemail, and decide for yourself whether you want to call that person back. Never answer any calls that you do not recognize. And you can block phone calls. However, I always recommend that you check with your phone company because they do charge a fee to block calls. So you want to just make sure you check and find out how much it would cost you before you block a call. And one of the rules of thumb that I always tell people is there's a difference between somebody contacting you to ask for personal or financial information versus you calling somebody to provide that personal or financial information. If somebody contacts you, you don't know who they are. They can say whoever they are, they want to say, but you wouldn't know who they really are. And that is a different thing from you actually calling the IRS or Social Security or a company to pay or to provide personal or financial information. Gift card scams have been pretty common right now. There's something that has affected Schaumburg residents. We have received calls from people who have been victims of gift card scams. And what they do is they can call you, they can email you, they can text you, pretending to be a charity, pretending to be the IRS, pretending to be whomever, asking for you to purchase a gift card. And it could be to help needy people. It could be to purchase a gift. It could be to pay back taxes. And what they want you to do is they want you to go to a store, and it could be Walmart, Target, Walgreens, CVS. And what they want you to do is to purchase a Visa card, a Google card, a Green Dot card, MasterCard, anything where you have to put money onto a card immediately. So you actually walk up to the cash register, you give them a card, and you let them know how much money you want to put on this card. Then what happens is the offender will contact you again, either by text, phone, email, and they will ask for the account number and the PIN number on the back. Once they have this information, they can immediately retrieve the funds that are on that card, and you're left with a card that is useless. So once you give out that money, the account information and PIN, they have that. That's all that they need in order to drain the funds off those cards. We recommend is that, again, never provide any personal or financial information over the phone. If somebody asks you to purchase a gift card or wire money, hang up immediately. The IRS is not going to ask you to pay for back taxes by a gift card or by wiring money via Western Union. Those are one of the two ways that I know of where once you give that money out, you cannot get it back. However, if you do provide this information, if you've been a victim of this type of scam, and if you realize it immediately, you can call the company on the back. There's a phone number on the backs of all these gift cards, and you can contact the company immediately to see if they can halt the release of those funds. So maybe you can stop the offender from retrieving the funds from that card if you're able to contact the company as soon as you realize. So it's worth a chance to try that, or it's worth the effort to contact the company. However, normally these offenders retrieve or take this money immediately. So the chances are slim, but it's worth the effort. Charity email scams, this is something that we've just been recently noticing, and we have been receiving calls from residents who have been a victim of this scam. And what it is these victims belong to some kind of religious organization where they receive an email or a text from an offender, and this offender is posing as a church leader. So it could be somebody that they know working in their church, and this offender who poses as a church leader will text this victim and ask for money. These texts look very legitimate. It will actually have the pastor's name or the church leader's name on the text. So the victim really believes that the text is from that person. And the offender will request that victim to purchase gift cards. And these gift cards could be for a variety of reasons. It could be in order to give to some needy people in their parish or their religious organization. It could be to purchase items for that religious organization. Whatever the excuse is, the main gist is that they want the victim to purchase a gift card and again put so much money on it and give them the account number and the PIN number. So they'll text them the request to purchase the gift cards. They might tell them to put $700, $800 on the gift cards, and then they want the victim to text them back with the account number and the PIN number. Once that information is given, the money is gone. So I have provided a copy. This was actually an actual text that this victim had received, and they forwarded it to me. So I took out the personal information, but this is an example of a text that a victim had received where the pastor, so-called pastor, had requested the victim to purchase $700 in eBay gift cards. And it was supposed to go for women going through cancer at a hospital. They had the pastor's name on there. The name was legitimate. They knew the person's name. So when they texted that person, they actually had the victim's name. And so the victim believed that the text was legitimate, went to the store, purchased these $700 worth of gift cards, and lost all their money. So they were a victim, they lost their money, but we did have a resident contact me with this example, with another example, and they were actually able to contact the credit card company and halt the release of the funds. So they did not lose their money. So it can happen, and I do recommend that if you are a victim of this, if you realize it immediately, call the number on the back of the card. If you ever receive an email or a text from a church asking for money or to purchase any type of gift card, what I recommend is that you contact the church immediately. So call the number that you are familiar with, check with that organization, and verify that your church is actually asking for money. We do have, there are some resources that the Schaumburg Police Department has where we try to get information out about different scams, information about our programs, or information about fraud or events that we're holding here at the Schaumburg Police Department. In the month of September, we will be holding a chat with the brass meeting. They're all held on the third Thursday of every month. So for September, that will be September 17th. And so that will be this Thursday, where we're going to hold a Zoom chat with the brass meeting. That will be at 6:00 p.m. And here is the information on the Zoom the numbers that you need to enter, or you can join the meeting via phone at 312-626-6799. And it's a good way to meet our police officials and ask any questions that you would have, and also receive information that we want to get out to the community. We also have a crime prevention newsletter. It's a monthly newsletter that our crime prevention unit distributes via email, or we do mail out newsletters to residents. If you want to receive it via email or by mail, you could just give me a call or send me an email and let me know to add you to our email list or mailing list, and you will receive our monthly newsletter every month. So on the topic of home safety, we did discuss a couple types of equipment that residents can use, such as photocell light bulbs, deadbolts, and then light timers. Lighting is one of the best prevention methods that residents can do to minimize the chance of becoming a victim. Whenever it's dark, we do recommend that you do light up the front and the back of your home. You can use motion lights. Motion lights are very effective and they're very efficient to homeowners, because if there's nothing in your backyard, the lights won't go off and you're not charged anything. So motion lights are very effective because they do scare offenders if they should happen to walk in a backyard. They actually scare residents sometimes when you're walking through your backyard and your motion light goes on. So they're very, very effective, but we do recommend that you do light up the front and the back of your homes. Landscaping, it should be kept at a minimum. You do not want to have your landscaping offer concealment to an offender. So there is something called a 3-6 rule, which means that bushes should never be taller than 3 feet, and trees should never have branches extend above or below 6 feet, so that offenders can climb trees and get into second-story homes. And then you don't want your bushes larger than 3 feet. That way they won't offer concealment to any offender. You can use thorny bushes. You can use rocks below windows. People can hear that. And offenders do not like to walk on anything where it makes a noise and people can hear about it. Again, I recommend that all exterior doors should have a deadbolt lock. There are different types of deadbolts out there. You can go to any hardware store and ask questions. I'm sure they can help you pick out the deadbolt that would be the best for your own home. One thing that we have been noticing is that homeowners are leaving their garage doors opened, even when they're inside their home or in their backyard. Make sure that you keep your garage doors closed, your windows locked, and if you have a door between your house and garage, make sure you lock that door as well. It's considered an exterior door, and that way it should be locked when you're not home. Never let anyone into your home. If you have somebody who's soliciting and going door to door and they want to come into your home, never let them in, and you can always call 911 to report any suspicious activity. If a solicitor comes to your door, they are required to have a permit, which means that they have to fill out an application at the Village of Schaumburg. They will be carrying a picture ID, And if you do have a no solicitor sticker in your entryway, they are required to abide by that and not bother you. So if you do have a sticker in your entryway and somebody does knock on your door, call 911 because they will be cited by the police department. Just like to pop up some of these photos. Has this ever happened to you? Or if you've ever noticed anybody putting purses on the back of chairs? Have you ever noticed if you've been in a grocery store, somebody leaving their purse in a grocery cart and they are in another aisle or they've walked away from their cart? Or leaving your coat on the back of a chair and you have your wallet or cell phone in your pockets. Those are things that I always recommend that you kind of stay away from. Make sure you put your purse in front of you. You want to always keep your valuables, cell phones, wallets, purses in front of you where you can see them. And that way you can minimize the chance of becoming a victim. Here is my contact information. Should you have any questions, even after this presentation, my number is 3847-348-7274. Or you can email me at pdiaz@schaumburg.com. That is the end of my presentation. I hope you've enjoyed the information, and I'm hoping to get any questions and at the presentation or even later on.
So what is the most frequent thing that you receive calls about? Just curious.
So recently we have received, or I have received calls about the scams, really the COVID and the church email and text scams. Those are probably the scams that I've received the most, information about when somebody has become a victim. And our investigations division, particularly with the telemarketing scams, it's really difficult to find the offender, but we try to monitor the types of scams that are affecting our community so that we can get information out to our community on prevention.
We have a question here regarding how people in the community can find out about burglaries that have happened in their neighborhoods. Would that be a police blotter type of thing?
Oh, that's a great question. So we do have a website, communitycrimemap.com. And on that website, you are able to objectively look at the crime stats in this area, in any area that participates in the with the program. So I do get calls from people who are moving into Schaumburg, and they will ask me how safe is a particular neighborhood, or would I feel comfortable living in that area? That's subjective. I don't like to give subjective information out to people when they ask me that. What I like to do is to give objective information. That way they can look at the stats and decide for themselves whether they would feel comfortable living in an area.
We have another comment. Thanks, Paula, for the good information. Can you please share any social crime incidents?
Social crime. Not that I know of. I don't know of any, and I haven't received any information about social crimes. However,
like social media, I guess I'm thinking, if someone was harassed on social media, could they go to the police? Does that happen?
Oh, sure. So you could fill out, so if somebody were a victim of a harassment, whether it's a telephone harassment, social media, they could file a police report to document it. And not only just to document it for themselves, but also to let the police department know what's going on and to see if there's any kind of help that they can offer, any kind of assistance they can offer. And I'm not sure if that information, I know harassment is a stat that would be on the website, and I want everybody to know that they can access this information. It is communitycrimemap.com. So if you go to that website, you can click on the Schaumburg link, and you can ask a whole bunch of information. You can be as specific as you want. You can put a date range in. You can put a type of a crime, such as harassment, and find out how many of these crimes have occurred, whether in the whole entire village of Schaumburg or in a particular area.
Question, clarification on the social crimes. Apparently looking for your comments on crimes regarding women, children, elders harassed at home.
Okay, so that could be something almost like a domestic issue. If it's something within the family, or it could just be a harassment. So there are a couple different ways that they can designate that. And I believe those types of crimes are documented on that website. We do see domestics. Schaumburg is a great community. Most of the crimes that affect the Schaumburg area are crimes of opportunity. So it could be burglaries, it could be retail thefts, car break-ins, any time where a person provides an opportunity for an offender to take action. Domestics are probably something that occur not just in Schaumburg or the state of Illinois, it's nationwide. So that's something that can happen anywhere, but particularly crimes of opportunity affect the village. That's probably the most prevalent type of crime.
So we have a comment about people learning new things. So thank you again. Do we have any further questions or comments? We also have an additional question regarding doors and locks that you have spoken about, but anything on windows? What's good advice on windows?
So you can purchase window locks from any hardware store. And that is something that's actually a really good question, because I didn't have it on my presentation. But window locks can be purchased for all different types of windows, so that you have the ability to keep your windows opened. However, it prevents somebody from trying to open the window further to get into your home. So if you go to a hardware store, if you let them know the type of window that you have, they can show you where you can purchase window locks. The great thing about window locks, they're very inexpensive, a couple dollars, and you can put them, I always recommend that you put them on the first floor. If you have a second floor area, you can definitely put them on, but it's always good to put them on the first floor, because we like to have that nice breeze come in. The weather's beautiful out, and we like to have our windows open. However, we don't want anybody accessing our home when they shouldn't be. So that is a really good prevention tool, and it's a great question.
Any further questions? Okay, well, thank you so much for being with us, Paula.
Oh, I enjoyed it. I hope everybody got some information that would help them.
That's what the comments are suggesting, yes.
Oh, great. Great.
And Paula, how nice.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. So in the village of Schaumburg, or actually with the Schaumburg Police Department, we network with senior organizations in the village of Schaumburg and in the surrounding areas. So we do work with the township, the library. We've done I hope that everybody's gone to our presentation, our annual presentation at the library. We work with Kenneth Young, the Senior Barn Nursing Division. So if you know of somebody who needs some type of assistance, we network weekly about things that are occurring in Schaumburg and how they're affecting our seniors. And so if there's some kind of need that you want from us, please let us know, because if I can't help somebody, we do have some great organizations in Schaumburg, and we help each other out. And if there's something I can't help you with, we can definitely try to find somebody who can offer some type of assistance. So please let one of us know if we can help in any way.
Oh, here's one thing here, another question. Can you share some information about senior organization? Oh, did you address that, and children's organizations to volunteer with? Oh, there's so much. I mean, from the barn, everything from the
Oh
barn,
my goodness, right?
right? For
Right.
seniors. And they do a fabulous turnkey operation,
Mhm.
driving in to pick up meals and so forth.
Yeah, especially right now with the social distancing and staying at home and the whole COVID thing, it's been really difficult. We are trying, like today, doing a Zoom presentation. We are trying so many different ways to reach out to the community to offer assistance wherever we can. I know the Senior Barn does an amazing job with Meals on Wheels, getting food out to people. Our officers are trained for senior to offer assistance, whether there's some kind of elder abuse. Most of them, I think all of them, are trained in elderly services and abuse. And so we do have so many different avenues or different ways we can offer assistance. We have the Teen Center, which is at the Senior Barn, and that's available, and it is opened for teenagers. Every year we do our Youth Citizen Police Academy, where they learn about the Schaumburg Police Department. And what we're hoping with that is that it gives our teens just an insight about whether it might be something they're interested in pursuing as a career. But if nothing else, just meeting our officers and doing some really cool activities that that will help them learn about the police department. They meet our canines and they get to do searches. It's a lot of fun. So we try to offer different services for our seniors as well as our youth. We want our youth to have a really good positive experience with the police department and be able to feel comfortable asking any questions.
See, so thank you again.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed this.